Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I'm bringing you a message which is all around conflict. It's all around relationships. It's all around having extraordinary connection and actually growing together, rather than creating all these unnecessary problems that kind of deflect from the real problem at hand that, if resolved, could actually, bring you guys closer together, get you guys to grow individually, in whatever that relationship dynamic is, and ultimately reach fulfillment through personal development. So why I really wanted to dive into this one for you guys is because I was having a really fascinating conversation with a special person in my life today, and it was really cool because over the last, particularly over the last week or so, we've had some really deep conversations regarding just kind of trying to feel understood by one another, trying to kind of grow our connection, and we've had some kind of like up and down moments, which has been like really interesting. And part of kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was we were kind of analyzing how we'd handled different conversations, different challenges, and we were picking up how we're both really different and how we kind of handle things really differently and how we need to be treated differently. And it kind of brought up this whole kind of conversation, and on my part, a big piece of reflection based on past connections that I've had and how they kind of played out and what went wrong and what worked and what didn't work and all that sort of stuff. And so that I could bring those lessons into my future connections, right? And so that's really what today's message is going to be about. I'm going to unpack a little bit of, some challenges that I've had in the past and, challenges that I can run into, in hope that you guys can resonate with these kind of challenges and you can work out quickly like what's actually going wrong and get out of it so that you can get on with the job of utilizing your energy in more productive ways that are actually going to bring you together closer with other people, rather than kind of tear you apart when it's not what you're aiming for, either of you, right? So what I want to bring into, I'll talk about like a past relationship of mine, and I'll talk about the major challenges that would go on. So the major challenge used to be that there'd be a challenge, there'd be a conflict, and I'm very expressive, so I'd like express like what the challenge was, how I was feeling about it, and it would end up coming to a point where the other person just couldn't even hear what I was saying, and they were taking everything that I was saying so personally that the problem got deflected from the real problem, and it ended up being a conversation or a conflict over the deliverance of the problem, or how we were kind of like expressing emotions, and all this deflecting would happen to the point where we would reach a point where we'd be so totally emotionally drained that we'd get to a point where it's just like, can't go on this conversation any longer. And you get to a point where you really just needed some sort of distraction in the external world to just kind of get yourself out of the over analyzing and the over emotional, just recycle, and get to a point where you're like, let's just go and reconnect in some realm that's not like this. Maybe watch a movie or just disconnect in some way that we can come back together. But then the problem is in that scenario is that ultimately when you go and you disconnect from it and then you start feeling like kind of okay again, to the point where it's like, and then you just kind of back into the normal realm of everyday living and relationship, and you haven't actually resolved the initial underlying problem, because you got so distracted by the deliverance and taking things personally and feeling criticized and feeling blame and somebody not taking responsibility and all these different little things that stack, that you actually never tackle the real issue that was the reason that this all got brought up in the first place, right? And so from that place, you just end up kind of feeling okay for a short period of time before, again, inevitably, the same challenge is going to come up again, and you're going to keep running this unproductive cycle of just focusing on stuff that actually doesn't really matter, and you're not ever feeling like you're growing, and you're feeling like it's never progressing, and you feel like it's this same underlying problem all the time in your dynamic, and you don't know how to resolve it. Well, what you really need to do is, and this is what's happened with this other person in my life right now, we've been able to talk about our differences. So if we break it down into what I love, above nothing else in this personal development realm, the framework of personality psychology, if we just take one angle from this, which is a really simple one for us to get, the difference between extroverts and introverts in this relationship dynamic. So I'm extroverted, and this person is introverted, and we have different ways of processing information and then communicating about it, which can really trip us up if we're not aware of it and we're just assuming the other person should be like us, and ultimately can bring us together when we understand this difference. So this is just one tiny little difference that I want to articulate and see if you resonate with this. I'm not going to go into the depths of human personality psychology, but I will explain just quickly a little bit of the differences in this particular relationship dynamic when there's a challenge at hand. So for an extrovert like myself, I need to, actually I'm going to start with the introvert. Let me take it back a step. So I'm going to start with the introverted side of things. So this other person in my life who is introverted by nature, meaning that in this particular dynamic, they need time to think about how they feel within, take that time out for themselves to really think and process things within themselves and work out like what's going on for them. And then they want to communicate about it. So they need this time to go within so that they can make sense of things and then communicate from their best place. And on the other hand, I'm an extrovert, which means that when we're extroverted, it means this world outside of ourselves is the real world. It's where we want to do all our processing. So for me, when there's a challenge, when there's a problem, I want to communicate about it openly, and I want to get all my thoughts, and I want to get all the feelings and the emotions out, and I want to speak it all out. And then when it's all out here, I make sense of it. I move through my emotions and I get to the other side. And so where the challenge comes in is if I'm expecting this introverted person who I'm trying to build connection with, if I'm expecting them to just be with it right now, like just give me exactly how you feel, what's your experience here, how you're feeling in this moment, what's working, what's not working, and I'm expecting them to have the answers for me right here, right now, and speak it all out as I would, then I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm going to put that other person under a whole bunch of pressure that is not going to be conducive for getting to a great result in our dynamic and our connection, because they're going to speak all this stuff out because they feel pressured, but it's not going to really gel with them, and now they're going to have to spend all this extra energy trying to work out and resolve the inner conflict within themselves because I've pressured them to like say stuff that actually now they've said it doesn't really resonate, and all this sort of pressure. And on the other side, they're expecting me to like, hey, process all your emotions within you and then get to a better place so you can communicate to me so I don't have to hear your whole array of emotions that I might take personally and create kind of conflict there, right? So when we don't understand each other, I'm expecting this person to be somebody and operate in a way that they don't and they're not, and they're expecting me to go and do that as well, right? We're expecting each other to work out things how we personally would, which isn't going to work. It ends up in a whole lot of drama, in conflict, in a ton of misunderstanding, and a feeling like you can't connect the way that you need to. You can't feel understood. You can't feel heard. You can't feel seen and listened to, and you can't move beyond it. But when you have this this is just one tiny little piece of personality psychology that works out in relationship, but this person in my life and me have come to a realization through experience and through the knowledge of personality psychology that for me, I need to be able to give them time and space that they need to do the inner work and then come to me with the answers that are real and resonate with them. And also, you know, they've learned to actually hear me out and not take it all on personally and realize through experience that if you hear me out and you kind of like, let me kind of talk this out and work it out. And yeah, my emotions aren't going to be like all positive all the time, right? I'm going to want to express all my negative emotions and my positive emotions. But if you see that out with me and you don't take it personally, you don't start like cutting in and you don't start like taking it personally and creating a problem that's not really there, and you understand my process, then you give me that time and space to actually come out the other side, and I've resolved it within me and I'm connected to you. And I like to call that kind of weathering the storm so you get to enjoy the rainbow. And so I wanted to share this with you guys because I wanted to, give you a little taste of what personality psychology can do in your relationship dynamics and your ability to understand yourself, so that you're, number one, not judging yourself for what you need, and you're actually getting clear on, oh, okay, I like to talk things out and I shouldn't feel bad about that. I should just be able to communicate on a better plane to understand myself and my partner or whoever that person is in my life. And now I don't feel bad about who I am. I actually understand it and I can own it and I can communicate about it. And also I can see other people aren't wired the same way that I am. And maybe we get into this conflict because we're just wired differently. We have different processes. And how can I better understand this person that I want to be an expert on so that I can create an extraordinary quality of relationship with, and give them what they need and not pressure them to be like me, because that ain't working, you know? And so I'm really, really hoping that this will serve you guys in all aspects of your life, in terms of your communication with other people and your understanding of yourself in your intimate relationships, your family relationships, your friendships, your business relationships, in all relationships, you know, to understand yourself, to understand that people might be different, and to come to a realization that there's a process that unfolds to the best degree when you understand both perspectives and you manage that. You know, you co-create something extraordinary rather than expecting each other to be like you and ending up feeling totally misunderstood and ending up with conflict that is totally not worth your energy, because it ain't getting you anywhere and it's just creating more problems. Rather than understand the process, be able to tackle the actual problem because you already nailed the process of how that's going to work, how you're both going to feel understood and heard, and get to the other side so that you can actually grow and stop recycling really bad dynamics that are just draining to your self-esteem and your energy and all the rest of it, which kills what could possibly be an extraordinary connection with another amazing human being. That, you know, you kill it because you don't understand the dynamic and you don't understand and appreciate your differences where you really, really could. And if this is the sort of stuff that interests you, if you want to know how you are personally wired, how you need to, communicate and handle things, and what direction you'd be most inspired to move in your life, how you could better manage your personal ways of getting into stress and overwhelm, how you can convert conflict into connection and deeper levels of intimacy, and really set yourself up to win in terms of the best growth pathway for you, and access your genius and all sorts of brilliant stuff that this framework can open up for you guys. Number one, I really encourage you guys to be part of the masterclasses, because my next monthly masterclass in the Limitless Potential community with all of you superstars who are already in it is coming up on the 30th of December, and it is all around the neuroscience of personality, which is going to absolutely unlock a whole new level of self-awareness and depth of connection with other people in your life, and also show you how you can get on track. If you're somebody who's just like so confused about your gifts, what you want to be doing in the world, a pathway of fulfillment that's tailored for you personally, not just this one size fits all, then you're going to want to be part of the masterclasses. And you're definitely going to want to be a part of a new program that I'm going to give you guys all the details about in the new year to set you up for absolute winning at life and in love. And it's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to release more details, but if you're serious about this, then definitely reach out. Let me know that you'd be keen and interested so that you can make sure you don't miss any of the deets when I get them out to you guys. But I definitely want to check in with you. So have you got any questions? Have you got any comments? If you're not part of the masterclasses, please use the link above and make sure that you sign up for the masterclasses. You'll get access to the very next live online training masterclass, which is coming up, as I said, 30th of December, and you get access to all the previous masterclasses. There's another 5 in your library, which are jam-packed full with all of the best tools, tips, strategies, and trainings to actually get you on fire, to get you to discover your genius, unleash your greatness, and get on a pathway of true fulfillment. So if that is of interest to you, definitely check the link up above, and you want to be doing that sooner rather than later so you don't miss out on the next live training. So I want to check in with you guys. Make sure that you are saying hi. Let me know if you've got any questions or comments or words of wisdom that you want to share with our amazing team. I would absolutely love to hear from you guys. But let me say hi. I've got Han and Judy and Charity and Daryl. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Canada. I love that. Thank you, Daryl. Wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year all the way from here in Australia. Love having you here. And Dawn's here as well, and Laura. And Dawn, meeting a friend for dinner. I need to listen later when I can concentrate. Sorry, I have to hurry. Wanted to say hello. Sounds great as usual. I will be doing the masterclass. Send you a message later as well. Awesome, beautiful Dawn. Well, I hope you have a beautiful dinner with your gorgeous friend. And thanks for tuning in and saying hi. I always love connecting with you, and can't wait to see you in the masterclasses. Yes, I'll look out for your message. And that really is my message for all of you guys today. Really do hope that it serves you. And as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, extraordinary. Today's message has served you and empowered you, given you a tiny little taste of the power of personality psychology on the most basic level. But if you're somebody like me who wants to go really deep, you want to know yourself inside out, you want to know other people so that you know how to create real depth of connection, so that you know how to propel yourself forward in your business, in your mission, in that contribution that you have for the world, and definitely have not just ordinary but extraordinary connections and relationships, then this is like absolute key. Relationship with yourself and with others, absolutely. This is the framework for you. So any questions, let me know, but I'll be bringing more little tastes for you guys in the coming days. So I'm signing off. I'm sending you guys all of my love. So appreciate you guys for joining me live, and all you guys catching the recording. I'll see you tomorrow. Much love.